30 verse 2.
Sovereign.
Sovereign. S-O-V-E-R.
Sovereign what?
E-I-G-N.
Guys, this is how slow I am all the time. Sovereign or what?
Sovereign provision.
Oh, provision, not revision. I was so confused. I was like, what does that mean? It's exam week.
So a fruit.
I wish I had
Yep.
that all
It's
I was so confused.
So yeah, the use of fruitful, like fruit of your womb there, calls to mind that idea, that balance of God's provision in conjunction with a person's obedience at the same time. It's like human right action, God's provision balanced with each other.
Does anyone have salt? By any chance? No thanks.
Seriously, if somebody was
I
like,
have
yes.
I
Just
know.
in my pocket.
I just wanted
to carry around chili flakes and oregano
Because
because in India they give them out like salt
Okay,
and pepper,
cool.
so I just put them around
Oh.
for plain food. It's great.
Nice.
wait.
Need salt.
D-E-U-T. And apparently if you want to, you can contrast the blessing with something in Lamentations 2 verse 20. Apparently I haven't actually read Lamentations recently, but apparently Lamentations 2 verse 20 suggests something about not having a fruitful womb if you are not obedient. Lamentations 2:20. If somebody's got like a Surface Pro and actually can actually find that reference, that would be grand. Alrighty, we're moving on.
Lamentations 2 verse 20 suggests that there's something about not having.
We good to move on?
Yeah, I'm good to move on.
You're good to move on? It's a good thing. And why has this happened to me? We're in verse 43 now. Why has this happened to me that the mother of my Lord comes to me? We've got a couple of things in there.
It's weird.
Why did I run to me? Does anyone have white out? Yes.
If you want me to read
Alrighty, there is tension in the why has this happened to me bit, but I don't care about it so much. It's a translation-y type thing that doesn't appear to have any major theological ramifications as far as I can see. However, we are noting the link to 2 Samuel 6 verse 9.
2 Samuel.
Which you're all intimately familiar with, yes? 2 Samuel 6 verse 9. The Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, yes.
What's referencing that?
The mother of my Lord coming to me. Not so much the what has happened, why has this happened to me, well actually the why has this happened to me bit as well. So, when the Ark of the Covenant arrives, David's travelling, the Ark of the Covenant's travelling, they arrive in a place that eludes me off the top of my head. And the people in the place go, why is this happening to us that the Ark of the Covenant is arriving in our town? Also, we get a similar play in 2 Samuel 24 verse 21. This same combination of why has this happened to me with the Ark of the Lord appearing. 24, 21. It is one of the strongest, like the actual phrasing here is one of the strongest evidences that Luke is paralleling Mary with the Ark of the Covenant. Like the Ark of the Covenant being the thing that where the presence of God resided during Israel's travels through the wilderness. And here we have Mary bearing the presence of God inside her, like the Ark was supposed to Ark, Mary, Ark.
Wow, that's legit.
Which one?
Samuel 6 verse 9, 6, 7 to 24 verse 21.
I'm just
Also, Lamentations 2 verse 20 is like about eating your offspring.
Yeah, it's about eating things.
Cool.
It's
So is that because
Yeah.
they're fruit?
Fruit on the wood. You don't eat that stuff.
It's like should women eat their offspring?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure on that one. Let's query the Lamentations passage. The commentary might have been lying to me. Alrighty, we have talked about the sound of your greeting and the child leaping in my womb. It is worth noting the extension to for joy there. We get this repetition of the idea of joy taking place through this section. Yes, so we get a variation on the second half. In the first bit, the child just leaps. In the second, the other bit of the bread, the child leaps for joy. Now, it is worth noting that Elizabeth is editorializing a little bit there on the basis that if any of you remember your mother being pregnant, not with you, but with somebody else, or you have seen people who are pregnant at some point in your life and they have said the child is kicking, at no point, usually, does the mother go and I've had a chat with my child and here is why they are moving inside me. They guess. So the formal term here is that Elizabeth is imputing motives to the baby. Imputing is a great word.
As in I-M-P-U-T.
P-U-T-I-N-G, I think.
E-I-N-G.
No.
This is for the child in my womb leaps for joy still.
I-M-P-U-T-I-N-G.
I think so.
To impute something is to ascribe... No, here we go with using more words that aren't a good common thing.
I got the
Ascribe is
Cool, nice.
Oh, there's two. Represent something, especially something undesirable, as being done or possessed by someone. What?
This sounds...
Yeah, no, it's the other one. Are you on dictionary.com or?
This is Google search.
It's a Google search. Cool. To impute a motivation is to assume without evidence for. So if it does often have a negative sort of flavour. It doesn't have to though.
Right.
If you want something that has less negative connotations, you can also work with ascribe. The two mean
Like ascribe.
very close to the same thing. To ascribe again is to give a motivation to somebody else without like clear evidence. Is to give to. The idea of joy here is important though. We'll note that the child leaps with joy, Mary's spirit rejoices, and the terminology used here is similar to Jesus rejoicing later in the gospel when his identity is acknowledged by the disciples.
Sorry, that went
Wait,
in my head.
hold on.
The joy thing. Where does she say joy?
So the child in the womb leapt for joy, end of verse 44.
Yeah.
And then her spirit rejoices in verse 47. And so we get this idea of joy associated with the coming of the Messiah.
In verse
To this one here.
You have to use that.
You mean
You have to use
Don't say that.
We already
Thank you.
You don't need
That. It's really good.
Alrighty, to make more sense of that,